Oh, jeez.
We're back.
What's
We're
up?
back.
We
We're
are
back. We're back.
in 2025.
Lovely.
Welcome to 2025 of HD Synergy.
A very brand new edition, a very brand new episode, and so much we would like to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I'll
much
let you
we would
take
like
it
to
from
talk
here, and
about.
I'll do my typical share around the world that we're live.
Yeah. Splendid. So, yesterday I got to watching something that I had been eager to, but seldom had the opportunity to. Yesterday I created that opportunity, and I finally saw the entirety of Mononoke, if you've ever heard of it. Yeah, it was only something I had discovered about last month, but it's an anime that debuted in about 2007. As far as genre goes, it lists itself under horror, but it's almost too stylistic to scare people. Like this thing is gorgeous to look at, even for being 18 years old now. But yeah, they came out with a new movie recently, much to everybody's surprise and delight. Uh, it's a bit anthological. Like you're not going to see one narrative from one episode spill over to the next one. It's far less. It's far more independent like that. It's kind of like Cowboy Bebop, only it's set in feudal Japan. Uh, this story follows a man with no name. He's simply a seller of medicine. I call him the merchant.
The merchant?
Yeah,
Okay.
the merchant, because he sells medicine to people. And that's just kind of a guise, though. His actual job is to hunt down these malevolent spirits that torment people, called Mononoke. Now, when I initially saw the title, my first impression was, I wonder if this is a spin off of 1997's Princess Mononoke from Studio Ghibli.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli's a pretty big deal in the anime industry. Like, you got Hollywood celebrities jumping at the gun to be part of it. And
Absolutely.
almost no other animes like that. Well, with the exception of Afro Samurai.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
There we go.
Yeah. But watching this was truly something. Like, it was almost hard to pay attention to the narrative when I was just kind of gawking at the art direction.
Yeah.
Like, here's a still image from the movie. Yeah, pause that and zoom in if you can. But yeah, this thing is drop dead gorgeous to look at. As far as the actors go, everybody got recasted for the movie, but it's fair. They had been sitting on this thing for a while. I don't expect reprisals. In all fairness, though, the guy that they got for the merchant in particular, he did splendid. His name is Crispin Freeman. The guy's had such a terrific career in anime. You could give him about 1,000,000 feathers into his cap. Like, he's had so many roles. Like, name any anime off the top of your tongue, and I guarantee you he's had a role in one way or another.
I say,
he hasn't been in that one. Okay, you got me there. Yeah, you got me there, but Bleach. He was.
Oh, say I'm 2 for 2.
Oh, I know he was in Bleach. He
say
had
that
to
I'm
be
2
in
for
Bleach.
2.
Oh.
Say that I'm 2 for 2.
I'm not giving you the validation just yet, but I think that branches into another topic quite nicely: the 1,000-Year Blood War. I haven't caught up yet completely, but I've been really excited by what I've been seeing.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I wanted to ask, about a few years ago, we saw this fan-made pilot episode that was animating the first couple of chapters of 1,000-Year Blood War.
Yeah.
It hasn't uploaded since this new anime came into being, but I actually did a bit of digging, and I found something that made my day when I saw it. The guy who did that thing, who animated the entire thing by himself, he's actually been working with Studio Pierrot on this new one. Yeah.
Really?
His name's in the credits. The guy's channel is named Retro Rhino. He had about a 12-minute 1,000-Year Blood War episode. Like, his work was so impressive that the official English voice of Ichigo, Johnny Young Bosch, volunteered to be a part of it.
Oh my
That-
gosh. He has some weight behind him. Then.
Yeah, that's all of the validation I would ever need in my career, in my life.
Oh
Just
my gosh.
for someone who has been a part of that industry longer than I've been on this earth to willingly volunteer to be a part of that goes beyond flattery.
It does.
That goes beyond flattery.
He has true works.
Yeah, Johnny's terrific. Like, I know him best for his role in the anime industry, but he also does motion capture in video games. Like, namely, he was Nero in Devil May Cry, both as body and voice.
Oh.
Yeah. He showed up in Devil May Cry 4 and then reprised it 11 years later for Devil May Cry 5. And he's about to voice Dante in Devil May Cry's new anime, which is kind of perplexing, seeing as how he's been in Devil May Cry, but he hasn't been Dante. Johnny, however, got his start being in Power Rangers. He was Adam. He was the Black Ranger in Mighty Morphin after Zack.
Yes. Oh my gosh! Really?
He was also the Green Ranger in Turbo and in Zeo. Yeah, that's Johnny.
Power Ranger. Okay.
I got some good memories, especially from the Zordon years. Best
Oh my
one is
God.
still in space. Don't at me.
I don't know. I really like Dino Force.
Mm,
Granted, they could have done a lot more, but I was just like, oh yes, this is peak. We get to transform as dinosaurs into a Mighty Morphin.
there have been a lot of Dino generations.
There has.
There have been a lot of
Dino
dinosaur-
Fury, I believe that was the one.
Dino Fury was the latest.
Yeah.
Dino Force, I believe, that was the one where Tommy Oliver came back as a teacher, and then later the Black Ranger, R.I.P. Jason David Frank. Yeah, but besides that, with what we have been watching, what about what we watched together?
Oh, okay. So I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so about a couple of weeks ago, before it was out of our theater entirely, we got to catch in on Robert Eggers' remake of Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror. Only this one is simply titled Nosferatu. Flawless movie. Well, not a flawless movie, but about as close as you're going to get to modern horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Eggers recently came out saying, despite being a modern-day horror director, he doesn't plan on making anything contemporary, anything current times.
Okay.
Mostly because he feel like he'd be shackling himself. Not to mention, with modern-day horror, you almost have to write yourself into a situation where the main characters can't use their cell phones.
That's true.
Yeah,
but,
because cell phones would resolve a lot of problems. There is a peer director in modern horror named Ari Aster. He had this movie named Midsommar. It's a pretty terrific watch. Go check it out. But he had the entire movie take place so the entire movie takes place around this cultish indoctrination, and because it takes place in a remote area, even having cell phones have no purpose there. But it's not really brought any attention to. That's why it's probably one of the better examples of doing it correctly. But Nosferatu, this was a movie I had high expectations for going in, and every single one of them was met. Every single one of them.
I'm not gonna lie, you was like, let's go watch this movie. I have no idea what this movie was about until you guys were starting to explain it and everything. Okay, audio's coming in.
Yeah, it's working.
I was a bit concerned.
It's working. It's working. We're good.
Sorry about that.
We're all taken care of. But one of the reasons my expectations were so high is because the original Nosferatu, the one released in 1922, actually 100 years ago, before they even had technology that could leave the voices on screen. Yeah, before any of that was done, I consider this not only one of the greatest movies ever made, but one of cinema's biggest landmarks, period.
Okay.
Yeah, despite being in the 1920s, it wasn't completely black and white. Like they had enough technology to like reshade the screen and the camera. They had this trick where it was yellow for daytime, blue for nighttime, and red when the sun rises. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, the reason I consider this a landmark is because it is the first movie, period, to feature a vampire. Count Orlok, although despite being a ripoff of Dracula, I honestly, in some ways, kind of prefer just for being there first. And that's the thing. They were only early to the party because the entirety of Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, is an unlicensed adaptation of Dracula. Yeah, the Stoker estate wasn't happy about that. They weren't happy about that. And it's honestly a miracle that the film is available to watch at all, because they were about to destroy every single copy of it ever made.
Well,
we almost lost out on ever seeing something this important. We almost lost out on its complete cultural impact, and this remake that has been given to us from the darkest, coldest, blackest pit of hell. Yeah, this thing is not something to watch with a full bladder. Let me tell you that.
Well, what was your thought on the movie?
On the remake itself,
Yeah.
there were 2 things I'd change. Exactly 2 things.
Okay.
3 things. The first of which being Count Orlok himself. Bill Skarsgård, he does a splendid job playing the vampire. Like, after starring in the movie The Crow, a crappy remake of the Brandon Lee original, he was desperately needing a bounce back, and boy, did this movie give it to him. Like, people know him best for playing Pennywise the Clown from It Chapters 1 and 2, but this is the role I'm going to be associating with him forever. I prefer it by that much, especially the voice he uses. That voice.
Good for your purchase. He did
The
really good.
midnight hour has passed. He sounded exactly like I always wanted him
Yeah,
to,
I was
reading
like-
the Silento version.
He did really great. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
He holds a candle up to Max Schreck, who did Orlok in the original. I did not like how he looked, though.
Yeah.
I did not like how he looked.
Yeah, that was a bit rough.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they saw Count Orlok and thought, you know what would make this guy scary? A comb over and a handlebar mustache
With warts
with warts all over his body.
everywhere. I don't. You know. Oh, all right. Before I change the topic, what was the second thing? Second thing you would change?
Yeah, the second thing I would change would be how he drinks blood. Yeah, he got on top of people's chest and tilted his head far back enough to sink his fangs into. I think that would be more uncomfortable than fulfilling.
He's getting it straight from the heart. My God.
He's getting it straight from the heart, but it just looks weird. Like,
Oh my God.
with vampires, it's always been the neck. It's always been the neck.
But he's not.
It always should be the neck.
Is he a full-fledged vampire? Because I
Oh,
thought he was
he's-
like a
he-
vampire demon.
No, he's all the way vampire. Orlok he's hardcore.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking about the end, how he was sucking the blood. I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, the plot is practically identical, if not the exact same as the original. But with the original design, he was completely pale. Like, this Orlok was gray, greenish. The original Orlok, completely pale, completely bald, completely handlebar mustacheless, and he had these big buck teeth and these pointy ears. He looked like a bat. He looked like a bat, like a vampire should. And he had these fingers, these long, lengthy fingers. it was so very disturbing. I kind of wish they were able to adapt that look into something more up to times, but yeah, this was not it, fam.
All right. And then
The
you're-
third thing I would
Yeah.
change was how Orlok died. Yeah. In this movie, he dies as the sun rises, and he dies while he's on top of Ellen. It makes for a very awkward image.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the original movie, when the sun rose, he vanished. He faded away. It was simple, and the effect looks cheap, but it was beautiful in a very artistic way. I couldn't help but admire what I was witnessing. This is the first instance in the history of cinema of a vampire dying in the sun. And
How they did it just
They-
seemed like a ripoff.
they sort of did more and did less at the exact same time. Like you could see his body sort of contort and become more uncomfortable, but rather than fade away and vanish, he just
becomes a corpse. like anything.
flops dead.
Yeah.
Speaking of flop, don't look at his crotch when Thomas opens the coffin.
Oh God, no!
I made that mistake.
No.
It gave me a sight I did not require in my lifetime. Yeah, speaking of sights I did not require in my lifetime, speaking of sights I did not require in my lifetime, have you ever heard about Mighty Magiswords? There was this Cartoon Network show of the same name.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, it turns out the creator of the thing, he was, I can't think of a single right way to say this.
Well, you say it in multiple wrong
Let's
ways.
just say he has a collection that he shouldn't have. He has a collection that was big enough for the FBI to tear down his doors and arrest him.
A collection of what, H? A collection of what?
It. He has a collection of it. He had a collection of it. Thankfully, everything that the FBI sees destroyed. Better off that
Still
way.
in the web. It's still in the system.
Yeah,
It's somewhere. People can dig it up.
I feel bad for every single child that grew up on Mighty Magiswords, because now they're going to have to live with knowing that about the creator.
Oh no. Oh no.
Why couldn't he just be a normal Cartoon Network guy like Pendleton Ward
Yeah,
or
why
Gendy Tartakovsky
Why couldn't he just steal money from the company?
or
like
J.G. Quintel?
Like a normal person. Just
Yeah.
take money from the company.
Speaking of taking money from the company, have you ever heard of Concord?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was a live service video game that Sony launched in the fall and then shut down after a week.
Oh God, what happened?
Nobody played it. Nobody played it. Yeah, nobody played it. And here's the thing. They were expecting this to be a hit. They gave it a $49 price tag on launch when other competitors at the time were free to play. You see Marvel Rivals basking in the sort of success that hero shooters of its nature do. You see
Yeah.
Overwatch, although it's killed itself twice, it still has players.
Yeah, it's like still has people that
It still has players. Valorant, Apex Legends, Fortnite.
Hey, don't diss on Fortnite. I play Fortnite.
I know you do.
Hey, when I play with teams and friends, and it's the only one time that I do play it. When I'm trying to play stuff with you. Do you play Marvel Rivals?
I was playing Marvel Rivals on my Xbox, but there was room for it that I wanted to make for something I'll get into later. But Concord, like Overwatch, was releasing trailers for all of these heroes. None of them were interesting. None of them were captivating. And tonally, it felt like it was trying to imitate that sort of Marvel brand humor that Marvel has been depending on too much and is finally learning to back away from more so. But Concord did not take any warnings. It didn't heed any red flags, and it suffered for it. Amazon Prime had this anthology series called Secret Level. They got in touch with a bunch of game developers, got a bunch of IPs in their fingertips, and decided to showcase some of it. Sony gave them a Concord episode. They were that certain this was going to be a hit.
No.
How
can you
How can
flop
you-
so badly?
it's like anyone who was there during the time of its 8-year development. Its 8-year development was afraid to say no.
I bet you they were afraid to say no.
I bet you they were afraid to say no.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
What's better in your opinion, Overwatch or Marvel's Rivals? We'll say Overwatch in its prime, when it's not how it is today.
Overwatch citations 2019 Overwatch. That was the last year I played Overwatch. That was when it was at its best. That was when it had all of its available Overwatch 1 heroes. Yeah. I was a Reaper main during my peak.
I know you was a Reaper main.
I was a hardcore Reaper main. It was just so easy to play him. Just run up to people as close as possible and then hold the right trigger. One of my favorite things about Reaper is his reloading animation. He doesn't reload his shotguns. He gets rid of them and then pulls out more shotguns.
Yeah.
And then there's his ultimate attack, Death Blossoms. Shotgun, 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 die, 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 die. Fun fact, I found out that the voice for Reaper was the voice of Blue from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Really?
His name is Keith Ferguson.
I would have never guessed that one.
Yeah, neither would I.
I'm still trying to picture the voice together. No. He has one hell of a range.
Yeah, he's impressive. He's very impressive.
Well, speaking of games, Monster Hunter Wild is about to be coming out, and I am invested. Monster Hunter Wild is great, and it's from the beta that I did a little bit is amazing. From World was a step for all new players, and now Wild's coming out, so it's going to be for all new players, older players, players that are back like me from Nintendo's DS. They're bringing back all the nice old creatures, bringing back new creatures, and I am excited. New weather, you get to have 2 weapons. They're bringing new weapons, and I'm like, gotta stay away from the spoilers. I'm crying on the inside, and I can't wait till it releases.
Yeah, on the subject of spoilers, can you imagine how averse I was to that when I decided to wait a full year to get my hands on Final Fantasy 16? That thing recently dropped $20 in its price, by the way. Pick it up. It's the best video game ever made. I am dead serious when I say that.
Monster Hunter is coming out soon, so I might have to...
It could put that to the test, but I'm remaining firm with my stance on this one.
All right.
But on the subject of Final Fantasy, since I have access to my YouTube channel through my PlayStation account, I've been doing a playthrough of Final Fantasy 15, with commentary and everything. It's been going along so good, but I had been sidetracked by something else that I'll get into later.
You have headphones, right?
I do have headphones, yeah.
Well, maybe later tonight we can pop on a stream and I can do a whole noob run of Final Fantasy 15 as far as I can go until I get too tired and have to wake up in the morning. How does that sound? And then I can share my screen to you. I can live stream and we can talk about how the game's going.
Of course.
So go check that out. Go visit. I don't know if you're going to live stream it, but go visit the dude.
Yeah.
Come to my channel, Crazy Reptile. I'm working on another channel with my other half. We're not going to be showing our face. She's not going to be showing her face, but it'll be called something Reptile, maybe. I don't know. It's a work in progress. It's something that we're probably going to do on Twitch, and it'll be once a week.
How about Less Crazy Reptile?
Less Crazy Reptile.
Less Crazy Reptile.
No, we're crazy all the way.
How about Crazy Reptile?
Crazy Reptile? I don't know. I don't know if I want crazy in it though, because it's not just my channel anymore.
How about crazy reptiles, plural?
Tiles.
Reptiles.
It would be reptilians then, for more than one reptile.
Reptilians, then.
Crazy reptilians. I don't know. I mean, that would work because we're both crazy.
Mhm.
All right. Anyways, what was he talking about? I'm so sorry. I got us a little off subject.
Yeah, I'd been doing a playthrough of Final Fantasy 15, but in between that, I had also been doing a personalized playthrough of Saints Row 2, where I decided to make the main character look exactly like the Joker.
Oh no.
And you'd be surprised how well he fits into these cutscenes. It's like he was a part of the game from the beginning. It's like the game was about him from the beginning, but
That's what I was about to say.
there's a string attached to that. I can't give him a convincing voice. They have 3 selectable. There's one that's really posh, very clearly British. That's the one I selected. There's one that's very urban, very gangster, very hip. And there's one where he came across the border.
Okay, well, let's stick with the British and we'll say this Joker is from Universe 20.
We'll call him Manchester Joker.
Manchester Joker?
Manchester Joker.
That works.
Manchester Joker.
Are you ready for GTA 6? Are you going to make another Joker for that?
There's rumors that the price tag might actually start off at about $100 for GTA 6.
I mean,
I'm hoping they shoot that down.
yeah, I was like, do you see how the gameplay is?
People have been waiting 12 years for this video game. Do not make them go through any more grueling pain through the process. Waiting is a brutal thing. I'm still waiting for another trailer for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic's remake. They haven't had another since September of 2021.
Okay, look, that's what, 4 years compared to 12? You got one more year, then we can really start talking about that.
It was 10 years to wait for a trailer, and so far a year and a half for waiting for the game.
Oh my gosh, how long overall then have you been waiting for like the game to be released?
For GTA 6?
No.
For KOTOR?
The battle.
Yeah, for Knights of the Old Republic, I had been waiting for one like this since before it was announced. So imagine my excitement when I hear this score by John Williams and a lightsaber activate and Darth Revan's face flashed in the camera. I had been wanting this for the longest time, and I got so sick of waiting, I played through the original, and it has been a year since I did that for the first time.
Have you did 100 completion on the game?
100% completion? Well, that depends. See, Knights of the Old Republic is an RPG. It's one of those where your choices are a big variable in the story.
Yeah.
Because RPGs typically don't have a voiced protagonist, I actually uploaded a full playthrough of the video game on my channel where
Check it out.
I'm providing the voice to the main character. I named him Dean Tharv. List in the comments if you caught out why I named him that. But yeah, since it's an RPG, there's a lot of choice you can do. Like the game starts off with you trying to hide from the Sith, and you have to enter this race in order to save a Jedi. And you can choose between 2 gangs to be sponsored by. One of them's rather calm, the other's rather violent. You have the choice whether to go between them.
Choose chaos all the time.
Yeah, and when you're finally off that planet, you get to choose which planets you go to next. And there is an intended order to go to with planets, a very specific order. It becomes more natural when you look at the status quo on each planet. One of them's where people have free reign. The other is where the native species are being enslaved. The other is where the planet is neutral, so they're having the Jedi and Sith play footsie with one another instead of fight because they're using a health resource to extort them. And on the final planet, it's completely dominated by the Sith. Complete total brainwashing.
Okay.
But you can go to any of those planets in any order you deem. I'm actually doing a bit of another playthrough where I go through the planets in reverse just to see what changes. There are some companions that you'll meet on other planets that you won't anywhere else. There are some choices that you can make that can affect the rest of your party. Like there are multiple characters you can decide whether or not to romance. There are multiple characters whether or not you can corrupt, I guess.
We'll say persuade.
Yeah, there are also plenty of conflicts that you have the ability to decide on, and there's also the method how. There's actually this mechanic where you can use these computers to essentially help you cheat in battle. Yeah, you can just take a bunch of repair part items, fix up a droid, and now you got a fourth party member helping you fight off the bad guys. Yeah, but where it shines most is definitely in its plot. It takes a lot of tropes you see in RPGs and flips them entirely on their heads.
Okay.
Yeah, namely a big plot twist in about the final third of the game, I think. Yeah, that's about right. But I played through the whole thing. I cherish this game dearly. It might possibly be my favorite bit of Star Wars ever. And I say, you know how much Star Wars has meant to me. You know how much I have gatekeeped Star Wars since Disney bought the rights. I have gatekeeped it with great effort.
Well, that's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
And I am speechless because of that.
That's how much I want this remake to happen. I want to see... I want them to deliver in the same way that Final Fantasy VII's remake trilogy has done so for Final Fantasy VII, the way that Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4's remakes have delivered on their counterparts' behalfs.
But what happens if it becomes more like a cyberpunk?
I mean,
you get the game, it's just not...
it could... I hadn't even thought of the possibility. And the fact that I hadn't thought of the possibility is kind of scary.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, long period of development, buggy on release, takes a bunch of patches, and it takes a anime spin-off to regenerate interest.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners was splendid, very, very splendid.
It was splendid. I just hated the ending. It was a very crappy ending. And I will say that with all my chest.
The ending's one of the biggest reasons it gets praise.
That is the most stupidest ending ever. They can't defeat the big bad.
Of course, you can't defeat Adam Smasher.
I was like, I wasn't expecting them to defeat the big bad. I was expecting them to, get everybody disappear and, show futures of themselves, like trying to live semi-normal lives. Because, what is it called when you have too much mechanic?
It's been too long.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, like the virus.
Cyberpsychosis. Cyberpsychosis.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was just like, the ending was straight up dog poop, in my opinion. I was just speechless, just watching it just go bop, bop. The main character bop.
Well, now you know how I feel about a Kamega kill.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Don't even start with that.
I felt a lot more of an emotional payoff with Edge Runners than I did with a Kamega kill.
I was heartbroken each episode. Not each episode, because it started happening at episode 5, maybe episode
5 or
4.
6.
Okay. And then it just was like pop. I was like, oh god, okay, not my favorite. And then it started to go down, and I was like, oh god, please.
Yeah, their lifespans were lasting about as long as an average housefly. Yeah, but Cyberpunk CD Projekt Red recently announced a fourth Witcher game.
Oh,
at
yeah?
the Game Awards. Yes, a fourth Witcher game where you're not playing as Geralt, but rather Ciri. People are complaining about that. People are complaining, no, I want to play as Geralt again. No, why is Ciri the main character now? No, you're getting all woke. That's not the point. That's not the point. You're missing the point. Here's the point. The last game, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, and its expansion, Blood and Wine, that ended with Geralt retiring.
Oh, so they had to do Siri then.
Yeah, Ciri was the next logical step. There are actually 3 endings in the game for Ciri. One where she will.
Hi, we're podcasting right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, she got 3 endings in the game. One where she vanishes, one where she becomes the Empress of Niflheim, and one where she becomes a Witcher.
Okay, so 2 of them is probably why they chose her as a main character for the next one.
Yeah, now, since she's the main character for The Witcher 4, that doesn't necessarily mean that the ending where she becomes a Witcher at the end, that doesn't necessarily make it official. Like, choices have very much been a consistency throughout the entirety of this franchise while CD Projekt Red has been working on it. Like, hypothetically, Ciri could come back from her disappearance and become a Witcher, or some complication happens while she's Empress and she becomes a Witcher. People complaining about her being the protagonist have no ground, because throughout every single book around The Witcher, throughout the 3rd game specifically, but the entire franchise as a whole, Ciri is the driving force of the plot. It is all about her ancient blood and the power that she wields with it. That has been the entire generator of conflict. Why shouldn't she be playable? Why shouldn't she be the protagonist? It makes plenty of sense. She was even playable in The Witcher 3, although she wasn't customizable like Geralt was. But that was because you didn't control her all the time.
Yeah, let's not make her customizable in Witcher 4. I'm
She-
so scared what this
she's
generation's gonna do.
She's going to be customizable in Witcher 4.
No.
That's how it's working with RPGs,
No.
with armor and swords and hairstyles. There are some playthroughs that have Geralt go through the entire journey in his underpants.
I knew it. I was like, oh god.
It's kind of the territory that you tread,
What territory?
the territory of an RPG.
Just people are so weird. Why must they be weird? Why must they be creepy? They can
Why
be
must they
weird.
be
Why
creepy?
creepy?
Creepy, I cannot answer. Weird, I can answer by it's just who he is.
Yeah, I was like, I can understand being weird, but it's just that's creepy. When is it gonna be coming out?
The Witcher 4, no
Yeah.
confirmed release date.
Oh, buddy.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming soon in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's what they've been saying about Beyond Good and Evil for the past 18 years.
Yeah, I was like, coming soon is not soon enough.
That's what they've been saying about Half-Life 3 for the past 21 years.
Oh, there's a new game that I think you would be interested. I believe it's called Once Human.
Once Human.
Yes. If you ever get the chance to look that up, it's currently on Steam right now. It's a game that you have semi-meta human powers. You go against like some corporations, some big bad gangs and stuff. I mean, it's slightly hard to describe. If you watch the trailers, it's definitely much easier to know what I'm talking about when I'm saying semi-human. I could probably pull up a little clip for you to watch. I can't show,
Yeah.
them. Once. See it
Once
pops up over here?
Human.
Yeah, have you seen like this type of gameplay? Let me see if I can pull up a trailer. Yeah, sorry about that. That's an ad. I'm going to talk over my ad because I don't have YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
I'm a slob. Alright, so here's the audio. So it's a survival game.
Huh.
It's slightly RPG.
Oh, this looks familiar now.
was like, I would love to play this with Ace. This was like the first.
Yeah,
person
this would be right up our alley.
I was like, man, that would be so much fun.
Speaking of right up our alley, I'm definitely going to get my paws on Sparking Zero soon.
Oh, you better,
Yeah.
because I'm waiting for you. I'll be training
I'll
like
be right-
nonstop, and it's free to play.
I'll just be the Vegeta to your Goku. I'm fine with that. Shots fired.
Nah, man, I'm not that good at that game yet.
Speaking not that good, I'm kind of mad at Toei Animation for what they've been doing with Dragon Ball Daima's English
I
release.
haven't watched it yet. I was waiting for
Yeah,
you to get word on it.
Here's the thing with the English release. It's been one episode per week so far.
Really?
Yeah, the audio has been done since before the release in Japan for this. The first 3 episodes were released theatrically, and those same 3 episodes I had to wait 3 weeks for to get in their entirety available to watch.
So when is Dragon Ball Daima gonna be finished then?
It's not going to be that long.
Is it gonna be another 12 episodes?
The Japanese broadcast, I'd say, has about 5 or 6 episodes left.
Okay.
So it's not going to be that long, but by the time we even get to Kid Goku being a Super Saiyan again, the whole thing's going to be just over.
That's so long.
Yeah, and there's the thing. We didn't really have to wait that long with Dragon Ball Super Broly. That was a month in between releases.
Yeah.
This was 4 months. This was 4 months.
And on top of that, you have what? Another 12 weeks? Because if they're uploading dub weekly, God, we're gonna be waiting forever to actually just sit down and watch it all in one go.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, what is going on with the anime community?
they're slowing. They acting like it's the dark times again. Back when you
Dark
had to
time.
wait. Back when you had to wait years in order to get a broadcast in another country.
Oh, gosh.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting, and I really don't appreciate it being like this because I have been waiting patiently for Solo Leveling Season 2
Mhm.
dub to come on out because everybody was like, watch season 1, watch season 1, watch season 1. And I finally did, and then you know what happened? The next week, season 2 was released, and I was like, cool, I could just watch that once it comes in dub. 3 weeks went by, still no dub. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, you got shows like Dan Da Dan and Sakamoto Days simultaneously. Simultaneously. It's not that difficult anymore.
I was like, gosh.
Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War. 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks for one episode. In between episodes. 3 weeks apart, 3 episodes apart. That's fine by me. Not the case with Dragon Ball Daima. No. We're 12 episodes behind. We are 12 episodes behind.
We're going to be a whole season behind at this rate.
One Piece is double that behind. And it had the excuse of being 8 years behind at one point. Not anymore. Not anymore.
No more.
Enough. Wait, that's a lie. They're 12 episodes behind. One Piece is 12 episodes behind its Japanese release. And Daima, despite being more recent, can't be closer to its. Speaking of weights, how about God of High School? When's the season 2 for that coming out?
My gosh. They did so well for season 1, and I was like, bloody Chris. I'm trying to work on my swear.
Bloody Christmas.
And I was like, oh man, so Chris. Honestly, when I watched it the second time, I was like, trying to copy some of the movements.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, season 2, please. Come
Yeah,
out
Young
soon.
Jae Park was a terrific author. He put together a terrific webtoon, and I had a terrific time reading that.
Absolutely.
From high school all the way into my college days, and it had a terrific ending as well.
Yes, it did. It
Mhm.
sure it did.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the first 12 episodes of the anime covered about 100
Yeah.
chapters of the webtoon.
Yeah. So
I was amazed that they covered that much ground in that little time. But you would think that it'd be easier to have a season 2 and 3.
because you still
4.
have over 200 pages of episodes.
Yeah, you still have about 329 chapters to work with, give or take. But then I remembered who the animation studio was. It's Mappa. It's Mappa.
Keep that animation out of your mouth. No, it wasn't.
It
It
was.
was too crisp.
It was Mappa.
It was too
It was
crisp.
Mappa.
No,
It was Mappa. It was Studio
H-
Mappa. The same studio behind Jujutsu Kaisen, the same studio behind Chainsaw Man, the same studio that's about to be burdened with One Punch Man, the same studio that did Banana Fish, the same studio that did Yuri on Ice, the same studio that did Vinland Saga Season 2, greatest anime of all time, no cap.
we're not
But
getting a season 2.
We're not
man.
getting a Season 2 for God of High School anytime soon.
You know what?
And it's the same case with Doro Hidoro, also 2020, also no Season 2,
You know, I got something better. No Game, No Life.
no Game, no life.
That was confirmed to have a season 2, but where is it,
Where
guys? Where is it? I have had enough patience for all my anime and all my games.
Don't worry, it'll be coming out anytime soon, just as soon as they drop Beyond Good and Evil 2, Knights of the Old Republic remake, Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I actually played a little bit of Hollow Knight, and so did my other half.
yeah.
She played it, and we was both like, how the heck do we play this game? Because it comes with no instruction. It just says dash, attack.
Yeah, and when are they going to release the sequel that was announced 6 years ago?
That was really 6 years ago.
It was announced 6 years ago.
Oh, good gravy.
It was announced 6 years ago, but it's no closer to being released.
Gosh, how are we like so far advanced in technology, but so far behind on schedule dates?
Yeah. Speaking schedule dates, I'm looking forward to Valentine's Day so very much.
Oh, why are you looking?
I'm going to be reunited with my one true love, Berserk.
Oh, I thought we was talking IRL.
No.
No,
You know me better than that.
I do. That's why you saw the like.
I
the
saw
pure
your face
glow.
light up.
I was
saw your
like,
face light up.
Age, no way. You didn't tell me. I was dumbfounded for a millisecond.
Yeah, but
Are they really coming back on
ahead of
Valentine's?
schedule, they're coming back on Valentine's Day. And that's the perfect date for it because Berserk at its core, it is a love story. That is not disputable. It is about
It
romance.
is, especially the part that you told me about it,
Mhm.
like with the kid, and I was like,
Yes.
oh, I would cry. I need to get into Berserk, but I don't know. It took me so long to get into JoJo, so I'm like, it's gonna probably take me longer to get in Berserk.
If there's anything I've learned with Berserk is that the wait is always worth the reward.
Okay, I'll
It
be
is always
patient
worth the
then.
reward. Mhm.
Around Valentine's Day, then we can binge watch some episodes.
Yeah, that reminds me. Would you prefer to watch the original anime, the Golden Edition version, or just read the manga straight up?
See, the thing with me and manga is I read all too fast with manga, and I don't like let the details seep into my brain.
Yeah.
So that's why I watch the anime.
Yeah,
'cause then-
Berserk's the wrong manga to read with a style like that. There are a lot of details that they will hide that you will come back to later and have your mind completely blown by.
Okay.
It's like when you get introduced to the Moonlight Boy and you see a horned silhouette on top of the hill and don't find out what that means until 200 chapters later.
Okay. So yeah, we should probably start with the anime
Yeah.
and then manga.
There's actually a hilarious version of the anime where they took the entirety of the blooper reel and worked it into all of the episodes. at
No
once.
way.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's cool.
Where they fit the entire blooper reel into context instead of the actual lines that they had. Like, trying to think of a good instance. There's this one part where Guts is preparing a raft, and I shouldn't talk about that. There's this one part where Rickert, the Hawk's scout, he has a bird land on his arm, and rather than read what the message on this hawk says, because it was carrying the message, rather than read what it says, he says, "If this bird craps on my arm, I'm eating it." To which Griffith responds, "Very well, let's go." Yeah. In the entire blooper reel, Griffith's voice actor, he can't stop singing.
Oh
can't stop
no.
Yeah, they probably should have figured that when you realize that the actor Kevin T. Collins actually has a Broadway background.
Really?
Yeah, they kind of set themselves up with that one.
Hey, that's fine.
That's fine by me. I like singing Griffith.
Bro was like, I gotta show some talent here.
I mean, he looks like a Disney princess. He might as well sound like it. Speaking of which, he sings Part of Your World.
No way. Bro's really out here doing stuff like
He does it in the perfect moment, too, when Griffith is all alone in a deep, dark dungeon.
A whole new world. Hopefully we don't get copyright.
Don't worry, we're not playing the official thing. Our voices aren't patented just yet. Speaking of patent, Lego has a new brand to churn out in the midst of all of their sets for Star Wars and Marvel and DC and The Hobbit and Harry Potter and anything else that they
I was like, what
license
don't they
nowadays.
have?
Yeah, they did Pirates of the Caribbean. That was a pretty good one. That was one of my favorite themes. But their newest theme is going to be One Piece.
You are so excited for that one, aren't you?
I'm so happy about that. But here's the thing. It's just East Blue. It's just the first saga.
Okay.
It's just the first saga because that's as far as the live action version has gone.
I mean,
And that's the one that they patented instead of the anime.
Hey, that's
They can
fine.
still make the Legos look like the anime characters.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of room for opportunity there.
I was like, there's always DLC, so
Yeah, I can think of a lot of people who'd be happy to get their hands on a Lego Going Merry or a Lego Thousand Sunny if they ever get to that point. But
this is. Oh my gosh! What did you think about Luffy's moonwalk when he was fighting? Do you not know what I'm talking about when he's in Gear 5?
I'm not there yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it? I thought it would have popped up
I'm on
like.
Punk. I'm on Punk Hazard right now.
Okay. Do you mind if I show you it?
Yes,
Okay.
I said yes. I
But-
mind.
But I wanted to show
I
you
mind.
it. It's
I
just
mind.
okay. Can I at least like
I
do the
mind.
demonstration of it because it's like so funny and like there's no context, just me doing it.
I guess so.
So y'all guys can't see this because I'm gonna look very stupid. So go arms.
You'll only
right?
see my reaction.
Go
Okay.
arms.
So he throws his arms.
He grabs the ground, right? And he goes. I was like, he does the most crisp moonwalk and then attacks. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
You know, I know Luffy's a pirate, but I never took him for a smooth criminal.
I know, right?
I never took him for a smooth criminal.
And when it popped up, you were the first person I thought of. I was like, God, I want to send this to you. Be like, smooth criminal. But I felt like you would also be like, I'm gonna hunt you down now because you spoiled something.
Yeah, speaking of spoiled, I'm happy that we were able to all see Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim.
Yes. For anyone that doesn't know, I don't know too much of Lord of the Rings, so this is mainly
Yeah.
this topic.
Yeah, earlier, before the new year came to a beginning and end, they released a Lord of the Rings movie, War of the Rohirrim. This was about the first movie in an eternity I could remember that was entirely 2D animated. And they chose a terrific property to do it with. I like Lord of the Rings, though I've never been a hardcore fan on the thing.
Yeah.
What I appreciate about this story is how removed it was from the rest of Middle Earth's entire narrative as a whole. It's self-contained. You can go into this and go out of this not feeling cheated in any way, shape, or form. I like that they were able to include the late Sir Christopher Lee almost 10 years after he passed away as Saruman the White. Though I'm wondering how they got the voice line for Saruman, because since he's been dead for nearly 10 years,
Was it like in progress before then?
it might have been some stock audio, maybe ADR that they had, maybe that they just
Or good video, like word clipping?
could be.
I don't know.
I don't think they used AI though. That
Yeah,
was,
I was like, no.
That was too convincing. Yeah, going into this, I was actually expecting Saruman to play a much bigger role than he had in the movie. And if he did, I was hoping they were going to hire Corey Burton. He is a voice talent who's had his career span across 40 years now.
Jeez.
He was Christopher Lee's understudy for about 10 of them. He notably played the role of Count Dooku in Star Wars properties, like whenever Christopher wasn't available to. He also played Ansem the Wise in Kingdom Hearts. He picked up those two roles on Lee's behalf. It would make perfect sense if he was there to be Saruman the White. It would feel kind of incorrect if they didn't do that.
Just
But
rip him out of that.
With the role being so small, that was far better. But the movie itself actually provides context for one of the original trilogy of Lord of the Rings' most iconic moments. In the movie Battle of the Two Towers, there's about this 15-minute long battle between the Fellowship and the orcs, called the Battle of Helm's Deep. And in this movie, we discovered the namesake of Helm's Deep. It was this really cool king who could kill people with his bare hands. He killed people with his bare hands. It was so awesome.
The king was not playing.
He wasn't playing with nothing.
It's, what do they call him? It's a Wraith or no? They didn't call him the Grim Reaper. They called him something mythological. Like a mythological ghost.
Was it a banshee they called him? I don't think so.
I thought it started with I don't know.
That could warrant some investigation, but
yeah, I was like, but oh my gosh, everybody was terrified of him. They was like, nope, not at night, not at night.
Yeah, this film it almost exclusively got made because they wanted to retain the rights to Middle Earth, to use this entire creation that J.R.R. Tolkien spawned from his brilliant mind. But they didn't phone it in. They didn't phone it in, and I'm happy about that. This wasn't my favorite Middle Earth movie, but it's far from being my worst.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. For someone that really doesn't watch Lord of the Rings, I was pretty into it for all the entire movie. I was just kind of lost in some bits and pieces because they did a lot of more information for people that do Lord of the Rings, hence why I was lost, because I was like, I don't know where we're at on the world map. I don't know what's going on here, and I don't know some of these creatures. But I mean, hey, yeah, you gotta watch something. You gotta learn.
Gotta see to learn.
Yep.
Monkey see, monkey do. There we go. So this wasn't the first animated outing for Middle Earth. Actually, the very first outing for Middle Earth in theaters was animated. In 1977, there was a movie about J.R.R. Tolkien's book, The Hobbit. This was kind of part musical, as a lot of animated movies were at the time. But,
yeah.
It was actually a big hand in... there was actually a role that this movie played in the character on South Park, Lemmy Winks. You know how he has that Simon and Garfunkel backing track? Go forward, Lemmy Winks, or you will soon be dead. Yeah, that's where they got the inspiration from.
Oh man.
Yeah, and guess what? There were two more animated efforts for Middle Earth as well. The entire Lord of the Rings saga by J.R.R. Tolkien, that got adapted into two animated movies by a director named Ralph Bakshi. Ralph Bakshi is very notorious. He was obsessed with blending cartoons and real-life footage. So a lot of the action you see in these two movies is rotoscoped, meaning they had actual people get up in these costumes and they drew over the entire action.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's cool, but it's a little jarring when the entire movie isn't rotoscoped.
Yeah.
There's a big shift where you can tell, all right, he's not putting illustrations back to back. These are actual people now. Yeah.
I wish there was a way to help blend that in.
Yeah, with these two movies, he takes events from Fellowship of the Ring and half of the Two Towers, and the second movie has the other half of the Two Towers and Return of the King. So it was unorthodox, but it wasn't bad. My favorite part of this movie is definitely Frodo. He stands up for himself. Like when these Black Riders, the Nazgul, show up in the original Fellowship of the Ring movie, he passes out. He faints. In this one, he draws his sword and he's like, "You want a piece of me?" Mind you, Frodo's only about 2.5 feet tall since he's a hobbit.
Heck yeah, Frodo
He-
is going
he's
to
only-
square up with anyone.
He's only about 2.5 feet tall, and here he is drawing his sword, taking on these men in black with
Nice.
these very long swords.
Let's go, Frodo.
Let's go, Frodo. Yeah. Lord of the Rings, the movie trilogy, there's one part in particular that I really enjoy. The character Aragorn is played by this man named Viggo Mortensen. Like, the guy was born for it. He was born for the role. He is Aragorn. I mean, there's nothing I can say about his work in that hasn't already been said, but there are two instances in particular that make him legendary. Like in Lord of the Rings, when he's getting into in Fellowship of the Ring, when he's getting into this fight with an Uruk-hai, there's this part where the Uruk-hai throws a dagger at him, and it's supposed to miss. Since it's supposed to miss, they used an actual dagger.
Oh no.
So he threw it incorrectly. It was going right at Viggo's face. So he takes this prop sword, this delicate thing, and he swats it aside. And they left it in the movie. They left it in the movie. He was in actual danger, and he saved himself. Everyone on set said it was the coolest thing they had ever seen in their lives.
All they gotta do is add spark into that clash.
And in the very next movie, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas, they're all trying to pick up the trail of their allies, Merry and Pippin, these two hobbits. They've gone missing. They're trying to find them, and they find the aftermath of a battle. And searching through the aftermath, they come to believe that Merry and Pippin were killed in the chaos. So there was this unscripted part where Viggo wanted to kind of portray the sort of grief he'd feel upon this sort of realization, my friends are dead. So what he did was he kicked a helmet on the ground, fell to his knees, and then screamed at the top of his lungs. That helmet it wasn't a delicate prop. That was a very heavy helmet that he kicked.
And that scream was probably for something else then.
He kicked that thing at full force, and that thing flew. So the amount of force he put into that, that messed up his foot horribly.
Yeah.
When he's dropping down to his knees and writhing in pain, that's legitimate.
That's not for his friends. That's for his foot.
Yeah. They kept that in the movie too.
Oh my God.
They kept that in the movie too.
I mean, I feel like they should definitely tell the actors what's props and what's not.
There's a third thing about Viggo that I really appreciate. Because Aragorn is the role that's going to define his career no matter what he does or what he says, because it means so much to him, he refused to come back for any of the Hobbit movies when they offered him a role in it. You know why? Because Aragorn doesn't show up in the book. That would just be for the sake of it. That would just be for a paycheck. Nah, Viggo's for real like that.
He's
this matters to
him.
Yeah. The studio split The Hobbit, a 300-page book, into a movie trilogy that nearly totals 9 hours. The third movie in this, Battle of the Five Armies. I hate that thing with every fiber of my being because almost 2 hours of it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen in the book.
It doesn't happen. They're just doing things. They dedicate 5 minutes of screen time to this goober named Alfred, he's just being awful to people, and it's not even paid off at all. There's no validating his point being there.
Sometimes it's just that's what it gotta be.
I hate the Battle of the Five Armies, but I'm not going to let The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey off the hook either. It takes them 43 minutes to get out of the Shire and for the adventure to begin. That line that they threw in the trailer where Bilbo's like, I'm going on an adventure. 43 minutes into the movies when he says that. What are they doing? You're wasting time.
Oh, man. Okay.
I'm complaining about The Hobbit being a trilogy, but the original trilogy for Lord of the Rings almost got compressed into one movie.
How long would that movie have been?
How long would that movie have been? The director's cut of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, is nearly 4 hours. I think it might actually be 4 hours actually, but they were. Peter Jackson was so annoyed by this producer trying to force his hand. He actually had this orc that he gives a lot of close-up shots to in the third movie look exactly like him. That producer's name is Harvey Weinstein. He stinks. He stinks.
I mean, his name sounds very close to sounding like stink.
Harvey Weinstein, he was the reason that there was a hashtag #MeToo movement, just to tell you about how ethical the guy is.
Okay. You know what? Hearing that, we're gonna wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Hashtag us two.
Us two otaku.
Us two, you two, next time.
HD Synergy
Signing off.